Do you like jogging? Well, I don't. It's painful, pointless, and incredibly boring. And yet, one of my most played games is Outward, an action RPG in which you spend most of your time running around like some Greek during the Battle of Marathon. Why is that? I played Skyrim, Oblivion, and a few other RPGs, and damn did I abuse fast traveling. And yet I played Outward for 690 hours without using cheats, speed hacks, or debug. Why? Because I am so lazy that I could not even bother to create the debug text file. Maybe, but I think there's more. Outward is a broken game, in a good way. Most things just work.
It just works.
Combat is pretty stiff and very punishing, but because of this, it rewards those who play smart and punish those who rush in. Preparation is key, but if you want to play a stupid ass build, you can, and it will work. I, for example, decided to play as a cowboy. But how do you emulate a 6-shot revolver when all the guns in the game are flintlocks from the 17th century? Well, let me show you. Oh, and traps. Yeah, I like traps. Outward has often been compared to Rough Gym. I kinda agree with this statement. It is already a very good game. The 2 DLCs that have been released by now have already brought major improvement and new ideas to the base experience. There is still room for improvement though. I'll start with a few negative aspects of the game. I really like the fact that once you start an action, like a sword swing, you are committed to it. It makes fast decision making far more important than reflexes. That is definitely a pro for me. But as I said before, the combat is a little stiff, and it sometimes takes a little while for you to recover. And you get this stupid message on the left of the screen, something like, you can't do that now. Makes the combat even less fluid, can be annoying sometimes. Another thing I want to talk about are underexploited mechanics. There are a few incredible ideas in the game, like the death scenario system. Not where you don't die, you get to death scenario, but it feels very underexploited. In the first region, Chersonese, you can get captured by bandits, put into some kind of labor camp. But in the whole game, there are a few original death scenarios like this one. Most of the time you will wake up next to a random campfire in the wild, just outside the dungeon you died in, or in the nearest city. I really feel like there could have been so much more complex death scenarios. Same goes for player choices. Some have dire consequences, like winning certain skills or items, but I think it lacks real choice elements. You can't be evil, for example. You cannot side with Cyrene during the coup against Calixa and Simeon. You cannot help the Scarlet Lady destroy the Blue Chamber. You cannot rebel against Elat with the Rogue Priest. I feel like this would have made replayability even higher, could have given more depth to the character you play. The RP part of RPG, you know. There are lots of good things about this game. I can't list them all, but here are a few that are really important to me. First of all, the music. Each map has its own theme. There are also alternate themes in dungeons or during fights. It's kind of an old school approach to music in video games. Most of the time in open world games today, there are a set of musics that play randomly while exploring a given area. Fortunately, the composer of Outmost music, Jean-François Racine, is pretty skilled. His musics are complex and use many different themes in one track. They contribute a lot to the atmosphere of the game. In the base game, I grew very fond of the Abrasar Desert music. But I must admit, I was blown by the DLC's music, especially the mini-boss track from the Sorobarians and the main theme of Caldera. Go give some support to this guy, he really deserves it. The backpack mechanic feels really good. Nothing more to say about it. It adds some depth to the inventory management, especially in combat. I must admit that my greed killed me more than once, as I could not run away because of the amount of stuff I was carrying. With that being said, the most incredible feature of Outward is the character build. There are lots of ways to build your character. And I've made so many, I don't even recall all of them. Overall, a great game, even if I think I might not be very objective since I like it so much. There are things that could be added in the future via new DLCs. I won't talk too long about this, because most of the ideas I'm going to talk about have already been discussed by other people. I really enjoyed the enchantment system they added via Sorobarian's DLC. Made a lot of low-tier stuff viable and multiplied building possibilities by a substantial amount. But I still feel like a lot of items have been forgotten by the devs. Most of the monster-crafted weapons and armor have no specific enchantments, and it's the same for any unique gear and boss items. I really feel like these could have had specific enchantments to make the grind for them more satisfying. Another thing to add would be emotes. Co-op experience in Outward is already incredible. The addition of emotes will really help the adventuring and role-playing part of the game, offering new ways to interact with your partner. As a matter of fact, there are already a few emotes in the game, like sitting and crossing your arms, but you can only access them via debug. They are most likely assets made to animate NPCs. I don't think mounts would fit in very well, but on the other hand, pets that can fight alongside you would serve the game well. They could add a beast master skill tree, allowing you to tame animals like hyenas, give them armor, heal them, or apply boots of them. There's already an AI companion in the game, the ghost you get via Conjure from the shamanic skill tree. So I do not think it would be too hard to implement. Oh, and last thing, please, for the love of God, give us a Tsar pickaxe, Guillaume.